What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to a post-game live reaction of all Steelers talk. I'm Noah Strackbine, coming to you live from Acrisure Stadium. The Pittsburgh Steelers just defeated the Cleveland Browns on a count to 23-9, a game that Juan Thornhill told me going into the second half. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense was determined to do one thing, and that was to not allow double-digit points. Well, they didn't. The Pittsburgh Steelers take a larger lead in the AFC North. The Baltimore Ravens look disastrous right now. Things look terrible in Baltimore and do not seem to be getting better. Ask Derrick Henry. And the Cincinnati Bengals are taking on the Green Bay Packers right now, where I have some reactions from the locker room that I thought were very interesting on the trades that the Cleveland Browns have just made. Shout out to you guys jumping on here with me. I apologize. We're going to see how this thing goes. We're going to see how we work through here. The Pittsburgh Steelers just beat the Browns. I figured there's no chance I'm not jumping on this live right here. If it goes well, we're going to jump on it live after every single game. So shout out to you guys. I'll hang out for about a half hour or so, answer all your questions, and we'll head out of here. The Pittsburgh Steelers offensive side of the football looked really impressive. The defensive side of the football looked ridiculous. This is the first time that the Pittsburgh Steelers have had all 11 original starters on the football field together throughout the entire season, and it paid dividends. I was talking to somebody in the locker room just minutes ago, and what they told me was, we knew this, and that player was Juan Thornhill once again. And he said, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and everybody made fun of me. I think this defense could be one of the greatest. And, well, they looked that way today. They looked like you couldn't do anything at all on a field that is an AFC North game. That all week long, me, Jacob, you guys, everybody said it's an AFC North game. Do you expect the Steelers to lose? No. But do you see it being a situation where anything can happen? Yes. And it started that way. You look at the Steelers in this game, and it started exactly how everybody wanted it or thought it was going to happen. A slow, non-offensive game where this was defensive controlled, where nothing was happening that was super exhilarating, and you were hoping that, well, all you had to do was score 12 points, 4 field goals, and you walked out of here a winner. The second that they scored that first touchdown, you were thinking, that's it. The Steelers are good. Everything's all right. And then it just kept going. Then the defense just continued to dominate and not slow down. And I think that's significant here. I think that's what, when you look at the whole picture right now, the Steelers just beat a Cleveland Browns defense, a defense that consists of Myles Garrett, who did not get to the quarterback today. And we'll get to Jalen Ramsey here in a moment. A defense that, was supposed to be great. The word everybody used all week was great. And the Steelers offense had questions. Nobody really knew if they were going to be good or not good. All right, well, let's run through some numbers. Aaron Rodgers, 21 of 30, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jaylen Warren in his game back, 11 rushes, 52 yards, averaged 4.7 yards per carry. Kenneth Gainwell kept it going with 6 rushes for 22 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. Even Jonnu Smith got on the board, 1 rush for 10 yards. And then DK Metcalf, 4 receptions, 95 yards and a touchdown. Darnell Washington comes out here with the biggest play to start it off. And I'll tell you guys, everybody knows that I'm the guy that you fade in gambling. That's what you always do. Well, I sat there before the game and I said, Pat Freiermuth, dude, 15.5 receiving yards. Darnell Washington, 11.5 receiving yards. I feel way better about good old Pat Freiermuth. I was wrong. Of course I was wrong. That's how these things work. Darnell comes out of here, blades of glory right at the beginning. And DK reveals that was the setup all week, that he was going to be the guy that had to block Myles Garrett, and therefore he was going to be the guy that reaped the rewards of going the other way around. And that's what the Steelers offense is right now. The Steelers offense is finding new ways and creative ways to get new guys involved at all times. And honestly, you go back to week 1, that's what it was. That's what Ben Skoranek catching the first touchdown of the season was. It was the Steelers finding new and creative ways to get guys involved that you didn't think were going to get involved. This week, it was Darnell Washington, and it was awesome. But I think more importantly than that, the Steelers have elite options. They have a ground game for the first time because the Browns defense is it's a litmus test. That's what this is. Minnesota was okay, you beat Minnesota and you look good doing it and you ran the ball well, but can you continue to run the ball well? Maybe you can, maybe you can't. One game sample size without your starting running back trying a bunch of different things, maybe that doesn't last. The Cleveland Browns are okay, now you've done it twice against two very good defenses, especially ground game defenses. And your Alan Saunders is taking a picture of me currently. And you're looking at it going, well, that's enough of a test to he is taking a picture of me currently. There are about 4 people doing podcasts out here as we speak. But you look at the ground game and you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers and you say today was, hey, we proved it. We proved that we can run the football now, that Jaylen Warren looks good and he could be a feature running back, and Kenneth Gainwell is a reliable number 2. And shout out Spencer Anderson, who's become a very big part of that offense and a crucial part to the ground game in a way that you feel pretty good about where everything is. I'm not going anywhere. I had to change the microphone. I just realized that we weren't on the right microphone. Shout out to you guys for not telling me. Nick Faribaugh coming in on the live. Hi, guys. And that's what the Steelers offense in a big way proved. And then the DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers thing is legit. It's very legit. You could go watch a Dallas Cowboys game today and say George Pickens looked pretty good. For sure, looked pretty good. But the Steelers have a guy who makes ridiculous catches as well, who is a team player at all times, who comes up with, big catches, but touchdowns, is open, makes the plays that his quarterback trusts him to make. And that connection, even without Calvin Austin, where they did not have a true number 2 wide receiver. When they started this ball game, it was Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington, and DK Metcalf as their receiving options. That was it. Those were the guys on the field. To have that on offense, I think, is a game changer. I think it allows Aaron to be really good. And then when you keep them clean, which the Steelers did today, no sacks, that's all you're asking for. As the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, that's all you're asking of everybody involved. And if it continues, there are big things coming. There are big things coming. On the defensive side of the football, I did not come in here, and Jalen Ramsey had the best quote ever to say, I'm going to tell my kids one day that I played in a game with TJ Watt and Myles Garrett and led the game in sacks, had a career high in sacks. Well, what the Steelers learned today are a couple of things, and we'll talk about them on the podcast throughout the week, but I want to bring them up right now. TJ Watt is a dominant player on every turn he makes. There's no stopping TJ Watt. But Jalen Ramsey is also a very, very dominant player. And Joey Porter Jr. and Darius Slay have turned into incredibly reliable corners. And on top of that, you still aren't talking about Cam Hayward. And the addition of Alex Highsmith somehow made Nick Herbig better. Because Alex Highsmith came in here and did his thing and did not at any point look like the guy that for the last 2 weeks we were questioning, oh man, is Alex Highsmith, should you trade him? Should you get rid of him? No, the answer is no. The easy answer is no. Because him, TJ Watt, and Nick Herbig are ridiculous together. And you keep that ridiculous group together. You don't change anything about it, because if you don't change anything about it, they might be the best in. Now, I'll take that back. They are the best in the league. And there's probably a significant gap between them and whoever number 2 is. You don't change that. You don't even think about it. Nick Herbig's got 2.5 sacks today, I believe, and 2 sacks today, excuse me. And Alex Highsmith comes in here and has 3 tackles, half a sack. That's what you're looking for. That's a group of guys that are ridiculous. On top of that, you're looking at Shout out to them if you could hear them. On top of that, you have a guy in Patrick Queen who is the most overlooked player on this defense right now, who is flying around and being a ridiculous inside linebacker. There's no other way to put this outside of Patrick Queen is as fast as everybody on the football field. His closing speed is unbeatable. His hit power right now is scary vicious. And he is the inside linebacker that the Steelers have wanted him to be. He's had the best 2 games of his Steelers career, the last 2 games that he's played with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, without question. He has looked so dominant out there. And what an inside linebacker brings to your defense is game-changing. It is not a nothing. It is a game-changer because you now have somebody in the middle of the field that closes in on easy passes, that does not allow runners to get more than 2 or 3 yards. That's what you are getting in Patrick Queen. That's what the Steelers have asked for an inside linebacker to do since Ryan Shazier got hurt, and they haven't been able to find it. Patrick Queen the last 2 weeks has looked like it. The best part about it is this is who he's supposed to be. So if he's actually becoming it, the Steelers are in great shape. Great shape. I mean, it was a complete manslaughter on defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have a guy in Quinshon Judkins who Mike Tomlin's talking about has Nick Chubb in him and looks crazy good and is scary, and I don't disagree with any of it. What I do acknowledge, though, is that the Steelers, they ate that guy's lunch, bro. They took it immediately. They walked into the recess and they said, give me your lunch money today, right now. No questions asked. I mean, that's a defense that you want. That's a defense that could go out here and win the North. That's a defense that could compete for big things. That's what we saw today. What we saw today against a rookie quarterback, granted, and you got to obviously put that on, was that the Pittsburgh Steelers can do crazy things and can win games and can put up 21 points or 23 points, excuse me, against the Cleveland Browns defense that everybody labels as elite. 23 points is pretty good. 23-9 looks very impressive. And I get it, it's still in Gabriel, but man, I don't think you I don't think that you leave this game thinking anything less than it's the AFC North. And if you came in here with the attitude of it's the AFC North and anything had happened, you have to leave here with the attitude of it's the AFC North and the Pittsburgh Steelers just look damn good in it. They looked damn good in this one. See a lot of field questions. The field did look atrocious today. Yeah, I mean, it looked bad. Chris Boswell's slip was bad, but it also blew out Miles Killebrew's knee, which sucks because Miles Killebrew is a crucial part to this special teams unit. And you hate to see that happen, but the field did look awful all day long. And I'm not a field guy. You know, it's the most boring subject out there. I don't think there should be turf, but the Steelers don't have turf. But you could see, I mean, they're ripping it up as we speak. They're down there immediately. We have to change the sod. This is all changing right now because that's where it was. It hit that point where it was pretty over, and the Steelers and the Browns both suffered from it. You saw it, man. That sucks. It definitely sucks. We'll get into some questions here. I want to give a big shout out to. We'll pick an offensive and a defensive winner of the game today. On offense, I want to go Darnell Washington, but to be honest with you, I'm going to go Spencer Anderson. I think Spencer Anderson looks crazy good right now, and he is such a good part to the run game, and he's the leading guys. He led Kenny Gainwell out on the corner, and he took on 2 guys as Kenny got 9 yards. That's impressive. It's so impressive. Spencer Anderson and his athleticism and his ability to move, huge. And then on defense, I mean, it's Jalen Ramsey, and it's Jalen Ramsey all day. That guy suffered a hamstring injury 2 weeks ago. He has 2 games in 5 days, and he came in here and he led the team in sacks. He looked this crazy good. I mean, we talked Myles Garrett, TJ Watt all week. You want to know who the player of the game was defensively? As a pass rusher? It was Jalen Ramsey. It was Jalen freaking Ramsey. I mean, I think that's as impressive as it gets for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Impressive as it gets. All right. Let's start answering everybody's questions as we go through here. Toss them in the chat. I'm going to answer as many of them as I can before I head out. I'm here at Acrisure Stadium. Shout out to all you guys for jumping on. So far, so good. If these things go well, I'm going to do them every week after the game and bring it live to you guys to talk about everything going on at Acrisure Stadium. On Thursday night, I'll be in Cincinnati and so on and so forth. Let's keep it trucking here. Bernard Nixon, PFF gave Aaron an F now. PFF is such a joke, okay? And it's been a joke, but it's getting so bad. They hire anybody off the street, dude. Bernard, me, my dog. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You go hire my 3 cats. I bet you they'd pay them. And they'd say, you want to come up with quarterback grades? There's no basis to it. Yeah, here you go. Have fun. PFF's ridiculous, dude. Aaron Rodgers, let me read it again. Let me read the stats one more time. 21 for 30, 235 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He had 115.3 passer rating, but somehow had an F. Myles Garrett's initial grade was an 80.5 as a pass rusher. That guy finished a game with, what do we got here? 2 tackles, 0 sacks, like the rest of the Cleveland Browns. That's hilarious, dude. Shout out to PFF. Poke salad. Run it back. I called B. Jones having a game. Let's go. I will say today was a statement game for both Troy Fautanu and Broderick Jones, but mostly Broderick Jones. Today was, for the time being, you have to put some faith in this guy, and you have to stop talking about how you got to replace him, and you just have to say, we're 5 games in. The last 2 games, Broderick Jones has looked good. The last 2 games, the running game has looked good. The last 2 games, Aaron Rodgers has been clean, and you can't sit around and say, oh man, I don't know, dude. I don't know if he's worth it. I think you have to replace him. No, I think right now you have a first-round tackle who's actually starting to look like something against Myles Garrett, who is ridiculous. And you have to believe in that. You have to believe in that. I think that the offensive line today was awesome. Today was an offensive line game where Mason McCormick's laying there after a run, after a first down, and he's literally sideways, and he goes. And I loved it. You know that the offensive line's having a day when Mason McCormick is just being that guy, that outgoing, performance. Like, that's the guy. That's the Mason McCormick. And I love it, dude. I love it. And again, shout out to the offensive line, but shout out to Broderick Jones. What a day. Cody Silva knows the podcast goat. Appreciate you. I won't say that loud enough for Alan Saunders and DK Pittsburgh Sports to hear. I think it's actually hilarious. Here, I'll show you guys a little bit. I'll give you guys a little bit of some insight here. What's going on? So we got, can you see him? There's, oh, move my big head. There's DK. And then down in the little corner here, down on the right corner is Alan Saunders. Shout out some hard-working folks here at Acrisure Stadium. But appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'd hang out with you guys too, no doubt about it. Captain Sparkle, we need to stop letting Pitt use the field. The craziest part is that Pitt wasn't even here today. I don't disagree with this. I 100% agree with this. But I think it's crazy that the field looked that bad. Like, you had 2 weeks. If you saw that it was this bad, why would you not change it at all? Like, why would you not go out there and work on it? You didn't have a game all weekend long. Like, why was it, oh, we'll wait? It shouldn't have been that way. You should have been out there and you should have fixed it. Grayson the Ginger, how do you feel? And I apologize for whatever is coming down the ramp right now. Oh, man, we're talking bins and bins and bins of garbage. Bins of garbage. You see this shaking? It's like a train of garbage coming down here. Disgusting. Grayson the Ginger, how do you feel about our wide receivers considering we don't have a bona fide number 2? Will we use Muth as a wide receiver instead? By the way, Darnell Washington is a freak. Shout out to D-Money, dude. Darnell looked crazy good today. You had to love every second of Darnell. I'm going to pause for a second and just go by because It's a train of garbage, man. Train of garbage. Darnell Washington was awesome to watch today. I loved that they did it intentionally. This wasn't like a Darnell just had a game. It was Steelers wanted to get Darnell involved, and I think that's huge. Like, that's awesome to have. And if that's a guy that you could utilize in your offense and scheme around him, it opens everything up because Pat's going to get open. You know, Johnny's going to get open. You're going to have these guys that are sneaky, and you're going to be able to utilize them. And I think that if you could utilize them, you can barely hear it. That's awesome. I'm glad. I think that if you can utilize all of your guys, you're going to open up people that you didn't even think were open. So shout out to them. And then I felt great about the wide receivers today because you don't need a bona fide number two. I mean, you go through Calvin Austin's your bona fide number two, and Calvin Austin is a wide receiver two in Pittsburgh. I don't know if that's going to change, but he's a wide receiver two in Pittsburgh. But you had Darnell with 62 yards on 3 receptions. Jaylen Warren had 2 catches for 11 yards. Jonnu Smith, 3 catches for 18 yards. Pat Freiermuth had 11 yards. Roman Wilson had 12 yards. Connor Hayward had 12 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell had 6 catches for 14 yards. Like, as long as you can keep the ball moving, and Aaron finishes with 235 yards against a very good defense, I don't have a complaint. I have no complaints. And I don't think there are any complaints to have about how things look as long as they're doing all this. Cody Silva, Miles. I don't even know what that means, dude. Shout out to Cody Silva. Always toss it. Always throw me for a loop, brother. Greek Salad, you rock. Appreciate you, my guy. Shout out to all the hardworking podcasters who are out here right now doing their thing. And shout out to you guys, man. Can't thank you enough. What's cool, and you guys will be the first ones to hear about this. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. But we're going to do 2 giveaways in the next 2 months here, which are pumped. One of them helps out Kaya Tomlin and the breast cancer organization or breast cancer foundation, the one here in Pittsburgh. I think it's Bridges. I'm so sorry that I'm botching this name. But we'll be giving away a Living in Your Fears sweatshirt, which is awesome. Comes right from her collection. And 10% of the proceeds after we do buy it is going to go towards breast cancer research, which is sick. Super pumped for that. So we'll be doing that for you guys because you appreciate it. All right, appreciate you guys for sure. And then the second one I don't want to give away yet, but it's signed. And it's a guy that I talk about a lot on this podcast that not everybody talks about. But I think he's a very fun player to watch. And I think that sometimes a villain deserves a little love and a little jersey giveaway. So we'll get to that eventually. Poke Salad, Jay Stokes has to know your thoughts on Nick Lalalieva. I have him in here. I actually had you, Jay Stokes. I had you starred, but we had to get to you. But I saw you. I saw them all. What do you think of Nico Lalalieva for the Steelers? I think he's getting better. Let's say that. I think he is getting better for sure. I thought he looked really good last year and has a lot of tangible evidence that he's going to be a good player. That's got to grow, obviously. I think this year he started off really slow, but he had a bad offense. You fire all your coaches. That's not great. And everybody on that staff leaves. You know, it opens up the door for, okay, what's going to happen? I don't think he's going to come out this season. I think he's going to give it another year. If he does come out, it'd be because the quarterback class stinks, which right now it's not looking good. The other day, CBS Sports projected they landed Jaden Maeva out of USC, which I definitely botched that name. I think he's a good player. Would he have been in my top 15 2 months ago? No. Is he in my top 15 now? Like, I guess. So I think things are going to change. But I don't know if I'm sold on Nico yet. Not this year, because I don't think he's going to come out. But I don't think I'm sold on any quarterback this year. Even my boy John Mateer didn't look great yesterday. And that was a bummer. That was a bummer for sure. Greek Salad, no need for for 2026 quarterback class is terrible. I do think that the quarterback class is not looking great. Do I think they're terrible? No. Do I think I butcher every name, guys. There's no not butchering names. Okay. I'm just terrible at names. I'll remember your birthday for the rest of my life. Can't tell you your name. But I think the quarterback class doesn't look good at all right now. I think there's like a weird quarterback problem in college football. And I think it's because guys move early. I also just think that quarterbacks are evolving, that the way that you're looking for a quarterback right now is different. You're looking for a guy who can do everything. And I think it leaves off the guys that can only do one thing, that could just be a pocket passer. And they get kind of passed over for these do-it-all quarterbacks who maybe aren't that good. So I think that as we transition into a quarterback has to become, you're either Lamar Jackson or you suck. If you're a Joe Flacco, you're not good anymore. I just don't think that's the case. But at the same time, I do think that we're going to get to a place where either everybody's Lamar Jackson or we go back to what we were looking for. And maybe that's the right way to go about it. I think right now I am on pause, but look at it. The Steelers don't win a Super Bowl. You're telling me Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to come back and play another year? I think he might. Maddie, did Aaron get sacked today? Aaron did not. I don't know if you guys can hear that one. Aaron did not get sacked today. And that's a great day in Pittsburgh when you play the Baltimore Ravens, when you play the Cleveland Browns and you leave without a sack. It's impressive. It's as impressive as it gets. Dog pound destroyers, which held up, my friend, which held up. Noah, what's your key divisional player who steps up in divisional games, and who were you disappointed in? I was disappointed in nobody today. Not a single person. I don't think that anybody disappointed me at all. I thought everybody on all fronts looked good. Like, I genuinely think that. I don't think anybody looked bad. Truly. Like, Keyshawn Williams looked great. Kenneth Gainwell looked good. Jalen Warren ran hard. The offensive line looked good. Aaron Rodgers looked great. DK Metcalf looked great. Jonnu Smith was fine. Pat Freiermuth got involved. Darnell Washington was a stud. Connor Hayward caught a touchdown. Like, the entire defense, head to toe, looked fine. I wasn't disappointed in anybody. I'm going to be very honest with that one. Key divisional player who sets up divisional games, Patrick Queen. My answer is Patrick Queen. That guy knows what an AFC North battle is because he comes from the AFC North. And you got exactly what you've been looking for out of him for 2 years, which is a guy that's as fast as anybody on the field, who has faster closing speed than anybody on the field, who hits you harder than anybody on the field, and who makes sure that he brings the energy. I mean, again, you're not asking for literally anything more from a player than that. Not a single thing. Key Willie. Key Willie needs to be the full-time kick returner. I talked to him after the game today, and I will say that for a kid that impressed during the preseason as a receiver, it was fun to see him as a punt returner. And the vibe in the locker room was awesome because you heard Jabril Peppers talking afterwards, saying, just saying that the whole team was blocking harder than they'd blocked ever because they know what Keyshawn can bring as a punt returner. Like, that's sick. And that's exciting. And I think the Steelers did find something in that. Calvin Austin's still a stud, and he's electric. And he would do some of the same stuff. You know, let's not pull that back. But you are looking at right now Keyshawn Williams saying, I feel pretty good, pretty confident about what this kid can do on a football field as a punt returner. And you got to be pretty excited about what he's doing. I talked to him afterwards. I got a call coming tomorrow morning on him. So Stay tuned for that one. I'm pretty pumped by it. Eddie the First, judge by what you saw here, do we sweep the Browns this year? Didn't mean to rhyme there, but yes, they do. The Steelers definitely. I don't think. Look, there's a chance you play Shedeur Sanders in a couple of weeks just because they're trying to save jobs and they got to do what they need to do. So, without question, actually, my answer is a yes. I do think that they sweep the Browns. I think that there's a chance they sweep the AFC North with how bad the AFC North looks right now. Because I personally like Thursday, Joe Flacco, dangerous. Unless he looks terrible today. Maybe he's gonna. Who knows? But yeah, I think the answer is yes on this one. Christian, Pittsburgh Steelers win. It was a Gettysburg War out there. Myles Garrett didn't do a thing. Keep holding the little Yeti with 2 guards. Dude, Myles Garrett, there's nothing that brings me joy in a football game more than when a guy who loves to talk smack about how great he is, not talk smack on other teams, like just talk smack about how great he is, proves that he ain't that good. You know what I mean? I just love it, man. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. Shout out to Myles Garrett. Shout out to Christian, dude. This is such a good comment. Such a good comment. Going back to Poke Salad here. I couldn't watch the game. How is Slay's shoulder? Haven't gotten much of an update. Mike Tomlin said after the game that Miles Killebrew was the only significant injury. So you got to think that that's a good thing. I think by the time Slay got injured, they weren't risking putting him back out there. In a short week, we'll see if things change. But you know, we'll see how much that does change. But Mike Tomlin's only update was Miles Killebrew looked bad. Besides that, I think Slay is somewhat in the clear. Again, they might use this week to activate Corey Trice and then, you know, go from there, activate Beanie Bishop and go from there and keep him sidelined. But I don't expect Slay to miss some significant time. Judging from the comments section, Joe Flacco ain't looking good right now. Shout out to Cincinnati Bengals. Hope they're doing well. Eddie the First, celebrating 8th month with a huge dub. Keep on trucking, my guy. Appreciate you, Eddie the First. The first. It's crazy to think that you are the milestone. So being 8 months today is maybe not even today, but 8 months this month. Nuts. Like nuts to think we've been doing this for 8 months. Feels like 5 days, but shout out, my guy. Appreciate you as always. Spencer here, with the Dolphins losing, do we go get Jalen Waddle? I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say no. I think the Steelers are going to try to call everybody in the next couple of weeks to just say, why not? Why wouldn't we? I'm not saying that they're going to make it happen. I'm just saying, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we call everybody? Why wouldn't they call every single team with anybody available and say, maybe, just maybe. Maybe it works out. I'm just saying. I wouldn't say no to that situation. I really wouldn't. And Eddie the First here. Hey, Roman Wilson actually touched the ball today, and I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you at all. When it happened, I was sitting next to Will Graves and Alan Saunders, and then Mark Kaboom Kaboli was sitting 2 over, and we all went, "Oh, Roman!" Like, it was a good moment there. It was a good moment. It's a good game. It's an everybody is getting involved win when Roman Wilson is touching the football. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Roman. I hope it's the beginning of good things. I hope today was the beginning of good things for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And man, did it freaking seem like it's going to be. All right, guys. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for jumping on to this post-game live reaction here at Acrisure Stadium. Let's get a good view of where they won a football game today. And jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Again, can't thank you guys enough. We're going to start doing these after every game to make sure that we're diving through everything and going through everything that you guys saw, that I saw, and to answer all the questions and to react to what's going on. We'll answer this one to finish it off. Dog Pound Destroyers. Did you know every Browns-Steelers matchup featuring Watt and Miles that had TJ and that TJ had statistically outplayed him every game. PFF could have themselves. Shout out to PFF, man. They suck. They stink. And if I ever lose my job and I have to go find a job and I end up there, they have a lot of dirt to dig up on me. But I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't going to happen because I ain't going over there. No chance. PFF stinks. Shout out to Stephen Cornfield for this one. Shout out Myles Garrett, bro. Let's clap it up for Myles Garrett. Let's clap it up for Myles Garrett. What a day by good old Myles G. All right, guys. With that said, I'm heading out of here. Thank you so much again for jumping on to another episode of a live reaction here at Acrisure Stadium. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/allsteelerstalk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcast. And as always, find all my work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. I'll have lots of good stuff coming out tomorrow morning and post-game tonight. So please, would really appreciate you guys going to check all that stuff out as always. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be back with my to-go before we dive on to our flagship show tomorrow afternoon. Until then, enjoy another beautiful Sunday night victory here in the Berg.